What is going on, Outriders? Wanna summon hell in Outriders World? Today, I'm gonna present you my Pyromancer Anomaly build that's not only gonna raise hell from the bottom and destroy everything that gets in your way, as you're seeing right now in the video, but you will also be able to rain down hell as well because of our weapon that we're currently using. I'm telling you guys right now, running this build makes every single content super easy, very manageable, and the most important, guys, it makes Worldslayer into a cakewalk. Now, we're going to show you guys exactly how you're going to want to make sure you put this build together, and when Worldslayer comes out, I'm also going to be bringing you guys the update with all that apocalyptic gear to actually make this build even better. So if this sounds like something you're definitely interested in, a like would be greatly appreciated, and let's dive in and talk about this build. So as you guys know, there are a ton of Pyromancer builds, and for those of you who might be new to the game or returning players, you know the main thing that it comes with a Pyromancer is his buffs and his debuffs. Now, we're able to tap into that and expand that even more and focus on three primary things that make this build amazing. Number one, allowing us to debuff the enemy. Number two, allowing us to buff the damage. And number three, allowing us to have a ton of AoE damage. So regardless if we're playing a just one boss or we're fighting multiple enemies at once, we will be able to decimate every single enemy that stands our way. So with that being said, guys, let's jump into our character and talk about the things you're going to need to put this build together. So starting off with the first weapon, guys, the Funeral Pyre. This particular weapon is going to be your main bread and butter. The beautiful thing about this weapon, it already comes with the best mod that you could probably use with this build, which is Shadow Comets. Shooting down a comet deals 231k damage to enemies within a 3.5 meter radius. It's going to be extremely important that you pay close attention to towards the end of the video, because I'm going to explain how you actually want to shoot this weapon as opposed to spamming it. As for our second weapon that we put in here, guys, is Claymore Torrent, which shot damage for enemies within a 6 meter radius with Anomaly Blades dealing 200k damage. So basically, guys, what we're doing here, anytime we shoot this weapon, we're going to be getting anomaly damage not only by the Shadow Comet, but also by the Claymore Torrent. Now, as our secondary weapon, guys, we're running the enemy. Now, this particular weapon, guys, the reason we're running is, of course, is for Moaning Winds. And what we did here is we add Radiational Splice to be able to apply vulnerability to the enemy. This one, we only will be using it when we're fighting one single target boss or multiple enemies that we need to clear very fast and very effective. Apart from that, guys, you really don't need anything else. Now, I know there is a second alternative of this build. I know a lot of people like volcanic rounds. I think volcanic rounds are a very good viable option to run here, but I'm telling you guys right now, this build is a little bit more better because it allows you to have multiple spams of your skills faster and allowing you guys to decimate a lot of enemies quickly without a problem. So let's jump in and take a look at the gear. So for the gear, guys, doesn't really matter. We're just running a purple. Now, that gameplay that you guys saw, guys, it was running with this particular gear. As you guys see right here, I have absolutely none of my attributes maxed out. It's okay, none of these attributes are maxed out. And I did this on purpose just so you can see how effective this build is, because it is extremely, extremely powerful. So what are we running here, guys? Of course, on here, guys, we're running Burnout. And this is part of a Heat Wave mod, which is going to damage the enemies 25% for 8 seconds. So once we use the Heat Wave, more damage is going to be applied to them. Then we're also running Tidal Wave. That means that we can use the skill more than once, which makes it really effective, because what this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to apply an effect to the enemy that's going to make us do more damage. So you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to the video to find out. Now, you could supplement this Tidal Wave by a different one if you wanted to. So if you wanted to do another skill twice as opposed to this one, then you possibly can. Now, moving on forward, guys. So we have the Akari set. Now, the reason why we're running the Akari set, guys, is because of this. Because every damage by Heat Wave grants 50% Anomaly Power bonus for 10 seconds. That's why I said it was important that you paid attention to, because what this is going to do is when we apply the Heat Wave, the Anomaly Power is going to get incremented with this armor bonus stat, which is really good. Now here, guys, you're going to definitely want to maximize Anomaly Power, skill life leech, and cooldown reduction. That's the main skills you're going to be looking out for this, because that's going to allow you to do more Anomaly Power, get more health back, and actually do the skills a lot quicker. Now, for the pretty much lower armor set, right here, guys, we're putting Anomaly Echo, and we actually put Power Assimilation. Now, this is going to do, it's going to boost your Anomaly Power by 11k for each elite present in the battlefield. Trust me, guys, it's going to be extremely important, because when you play Worldslayer, there are going to be a ton of elites in the battlefield. Now, we supplemented this one with Captain Hunter because Captain Hunter is really good, but this is going to be boosted off each one that's present, which makes it really powerful. Next up, guys, for our gloves, we're running Ashen Boost, which is going to boost your damage against enemies afflicted with ash. Really important. So basically, think about this one. We're going to be applying this one, which is going to be the Heat Wave, getting that 50% anomaly power. On top of that, if the person or the enemy has ash, we're going to get an additional 20% on that enemy. And we also put Fire Tsunami, which is going to go ahead and increase the width of the firewall, which makes you cover a lot more people. Now, on top of that, guys, for the boots, guys, we're running the Master Consumer, which is an overheat skill that when the skill is consumed, either burn or ash status is dealt with damage. Consuming both at once increases their damage by 150%. So if the enemy has ash applied to them or burn, which we are already applying, which I'll talk about how you want to combo this, it's going to deal 150 damage. In addition to that, guys, we're also running Dead Sentence, which is an Ash plus 1. Your weapon damage and anomaly damage against enemies afflicted by the skill are increased repetitively by 40 to 30% for 8 seconds. So you guys are getting the gist here, guys. Anytime that we apply Ash Blast, weapon damage and anomaly damage is getting incremented. Now that's as far as the inventory. With that being said, let's take a look at the skills. Of course, we are going to be running Heat Wave. Reason we're running Heat Wave is because we want to be able to apply that burn. As you see, guys, the cooldown is very fast, 6.7. We could theoretically, I believe, get this to 6.2 if we have the proper armor with a skill cooldown reduction. So do keep that in mind. This still could be more beneficial. We're also running Overheat, which is going to deal damage and explode the enemies. And this is going to cause a interruption on their skills, which is really important. Plus, in addition to that, it's going to apply Burn, which is going to give you a 42k damage instantly, which makes it really dope. Now, Ash Blast, we're also going to do this as well. This is going to cause a blast that is going to inflict ash onto the enemies. The beautiful thing about this one is that not only does it apply ash, but it also freezes enemies. Now, you're able to get this at a 9.9 cooldown, so allowing you guys to use this very effectively without a problem. So there you guys have it. That is what we have. Now onto our classes. Now for our classes, guys, we're going top tree and mixing up just a little bit of the middle tree, and we'll explain why. So what we have here, guys, let's take a look. So we have the first one, which is going to increase our max health, so we're going to become a little bit tanky. We're going to go and reduce the Ignite skill cooldown, so allowing us to use it more effectively. Increase our max health, once again making it a little bit tanky, but the reason we want this route is because of Wildfire, which is going to decrease all your skill cooldown by 10%. We definitely want to make sure we're spamming our skills as much as often as we can. Next up on the top three, guys, we're going to increase our weapon damage, reduce our cooldown here, increase our weapon damage on marked enemies. Since almost all the enemies are always going to constantly be marked, that's going to be incremented every single time. Now, when the enemy has ash, you're going to get more damage. Then we're going to go with the weapon damage increment, but we really want to pick this one. Is called Hot Situation. Activating immobilized skills increases your anomaly power by 45%. As you guys have been seeing, guys, we've been getting a lot of increments to our anomaly power, over 100 anomaly power increment with just the armor sets and the nods that we're picking up here. Then we also have Incinerate, which is going to, the momentum burn ends and enemy inflicts ash status. So when you apply burn and that burn effect ends, the enemy is going to get ash. And remember, we have the ability that when ash or burn are applied, we get that boost in damage. Now, we're also going to get increased to resistant piercings. That's more defensive skills. Weapon damage here. Weapon damage, weapon damage. But the main here thing is the ashes to ashes. Every 10 ashes inflicted on an enemy, vulnerability status is inflicted as well. This is going to make the enemy very, very smushy. So you're going to be able to do a ton of damage against them. Then we have decreased reload time speed. This is not so important, but we really don't have other place to go on here. I wish we could pick another nod, but hey, it is what it is. Then we guys have this one, guys, Hurt Twice as Long, which is going to increase your damage against elites. Elites deal 10 less damage to you, which is really good, making you a little bit tankier against elites. And then we have any afflicted with ash receive 10% more damage, and of course another cooldown reduction here. It would have been nice if we could actually go ahead and pick this one up, and we didn't have to pick this one up, but unfortunately we can't. But what we're going to be able to do when Worldslayer comes out and unlock that pack tree, we're going to be able to tap into more probabilities of giving us more damage. So now that you understand everything that we're doing, let's talk about the combos and what we need to do in order to make this build work. Of course, first thing we want to do, guys, is we're going to want to make sure we apply burn to the enemy. Once that burn effect is applied, we are then going to apply ash to the enemy. That's going to freeze a lot of enemies in the area, and then we're going to hit them with the boom, allowing us to blow up and disseminate the enemies around us, clearing almost the entire room. Now, one thing that's important that you want to do before you shoot your weapon, you always want to apply burn, because burn is going to increase the anomaly power, and since our weapon is doing anomaly power when it's shooting, we want to maximize the potential. Now, speaking of weapon, there is a very important thing that you must learn on how to shoot this weapon. Usually people will hold it down and do this. You do not want to do this, guys. Actually, what you want to do is you want to tap this like this, like that. So when you tap it, the comets actually come down. So you want to tap it. Now, you do not want to aim down sights. That's a big no-no unless people are pretty far. You pretty much just want to go ahead and hip fire. The reason why you want to hip fire is because you'll notice that the bullet spread, when I shoot that, it's very tight. But when I shoot it like this off hip fire, it's no longer tight anymore, which makes it really effective and really potent. And there you guys have it. That is my Pyromancer build. That's going to have you ready for endgame. Trust me, if you guys are running another build, this is going to be way more helpful for Worldslayer than the build that you're probably running at the current moment. The only thing that might top this is the phaser beam one, which is pretty much a one-shot build. But with the ton of enemies that are within Worldslayer, you're going to want to make sure you have pretty much a build that has a lot of AoE damage control and allows you to do a lot of damage. If you want to know how you could be extremely prepared for when Worldslayer comes out, which we're a couple days out, check out this video that's popping up right now on the screen so you guys know exactly how to prepare and what to farm for as we get closer and closer to the release. I hope you guys are enjoying our content. If you are, do like each favorite, guys, drop a comment, drop a like, but most importantly, subscribe to the channel, turn on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.